simultaneous interpretation during the session. For those who need interpretation service, please turn your receiver to channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English. If you have difficulty in using your receivers, please feel free to ask to our staff members. 네, 그럼 이제 2시가 되었습니다. 자, 곧바로 행사를 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
It's time for us to begin the second session on the opening day of the ICFC 2024. I am in Lee-Hae-won, your MC for the second session on the opening day of the ICFC 2024. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for welcoming me with a big hand. The overarching theme of this year's conference is One Ocean, One Fisheries Community, One Fishing Community, Challenges in an Era of a Great Transformation. This conference has been organized to discuss the key challenges and issues faced by fishing communities worldwide, which are all connected by one sea and one ocean, and to seek practical solutions. Today's session has been prepared in response to the growing demand for fishing and ecotourism, which leverages the diverse tangible and intangible resources of fishing communities. It aims to rediscover fishing villages as attractive leisure destinations and share strategies and best practices for revitalizing fisheries industries. Under the theme of transforming fisheries business and exploring new opportunities, we will explore how transitioning from traditional fisheries focused on seafood and production to tourism and experience-oriented business models can contribute to local economic revitalization and the creation of quality jobs, illustrated by various successful examples. We hope this will be a meaningful forum for a discussion, and I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Before we officially begin the session, we will hear a congratulatory speech from Mr. Hong Jong-wook, President of the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. Please welcome him with a big hand.
예, 반갑습니다.
Distinguished guests, good afternoon. I'm Hong Jong-wook, President of the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations on the successful hosting of the ICFC 2024. I also want to express my gratitude to all the fishing community stakeholders, distinguished guests from around the world, and all the other attendees who have joined us here today for the fishing community business session. Today's gathering is a meaningful occasion as it provides an opportunity for countries around the world to reflect on the current challenges facing fishing communities and explore new pathways toward a sustainable future. Today, fishing communities across the globe are faced with pressing challenges, including climate change, decline in fisheries, resources, population, and stagnant local economy. However, to overcome these crises, we must share our collective wisdom, collaborate, and embrace a spirit of
가지고 있는
resilience to create new opportunities. To this end, it is time to cultivate new industries to generate added value by harnessing the diverse resources fishing communities possess. We need to move beyond community-driven and production-centered models, inviting private sector cooperation and investment. Integrating business model into various sectors such as fishing tourism will help us to discover ways to achieve mutual growth and progress. Furthermore, fishing communities should transcend their traditional role as spaces for food supply and livelihood. They should evolve into hubs that contribute to marine ecosystem and conservation, preserve a traditional culture, and offer recreational and tourism functions to the public, and become economically valuable space with high industrial potential. I hope today's fishing community business session will serve as a valuable opportunity to share outstanding examples and policies from various countries, enabling benchmarking and exploring collaborative solutions on a global scale. Lastly, the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency will continue to lead the way in transforming and innovating fishing community businesses and will actively collaborate with the international community. Once again, sincere congratulations on the hosting of the ICFC 2024. I wish health and happiness to all the families of those in attendance here today. Thank you.
네, 큰 박수 보내시기 바랍니다. 자, 한국
Please give him a big round of applause. That was the president of Korean Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. He highlighted the importance of collective wisdom and coordinated effort. So we can see the great potential in the fishing industry. Thank you very much.
한 분
We have one more congratulatory speech ready today. It is the president of Korea Fisheries Association, Mr. Jung Hyun-hoon. Please give a big round of applause.
Please give a big round of applause. That was the president of Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency, Mr. Jung Hyun-hoon. He highlighted the importance of collective wisdom and coordinated effort. So we can see the great potential in the fishing industry. Thank you very much.
한 분
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Jung Young-un, President of Korea Fisheries Association. As you know, the fishing village is facing challenges including climate change and digitalization. We are facing an era of great transformation. I believe that today will be a great opportunity in terms of discussing transformation of fishing village business models and talking about the future of the fishing communities. Our fishing communities have traditionally focused on primary industries such as seafood production. However, with climate change causing reduction of fishery resources, aging of fishery communities, and the changing trade environment, pressing challenges have emerged. The changing environment is a crisis and an opportunity. We need to adapt to the changing era and leap forward. Leveraging the grand natural resources, like mentioned by Mr. Hong and the MC, we are now transforming ourselves from a traditional seafood harvesting and processing location to a vibrant community of tourism and other new business models. I believe that today's international conference and a platform of discussion with global partners is a great opportunity for us to learn from others. So, incorporating tourism, processing, distribution, and various programs to attract tourists, I believe that we can move to the sixth industry. The future of the fishing community is bright. Traditional fishing and modern business can be combined to enrich the fishing communities and create a sustainable future for all. I believe that today's seminar will be an opportunity to collect all of the wisdom and insights, and I hope there will be new solutions that are presented for our way forward. I wish everyone health and happiness. Thank you. Thank you for those insightful words. Please give him a big round of applause. Please mind your steps. The lights here are very bright, so make sure you see all of the steps. I would like to ask everyone to mind the steps today. So the president of Korea Fisheries Association has gave us some very insightful words. The future of the fishing community is bright. I think that is key message. I think today will be an opportunity to overcome the challenges that we are facing. Now let's begin the session.
세션은
In this session, we will address two themes and topics, and we have many presentations as well as discussions and case studies. Before we begin, why don't we take a look at a short video.
네, 여러분의 박
Why don't we begin session 2 with a big hand? We've just met today's presenters and panelists on video. Let us now explore outstanding examples of creating added value through fisheries resources. This session features a total of 6 exemplary cases focusing on innovative and creative approaches in fisheries communities that utilize discarded resources to generate high added value. Since we have many presentations to cover, we will proceed as efficiently as possible. And please mind the time. I'd like to ask all the presenters. First, we have Mr. Woo Ha-young, CEO of Toizen, who will share a case study on creating high added value by repurposing discarded oyster shells. Please give him a big hand.
안녕하세요. 방금 소개받은 우아영입니다.
Good afternoon, I'm Woo Young.
I'm very honored to be here and present my journey to the Upsell Corporation, my new company. Yep, I am Ha-young Woo, founder and CEO of Toys N. I have been worked for many different fields of the academia and business side. As you can see this slide, I'm not a person in fishery or maritime business. But I have some reason why I work for this side. I was born in Jeju Island. You are here in Jeju. Jeju Island is the biggest island in Korea. Second biggest island in Jeju. Jeju is the second biggest island. Yep, Jeju Island here, Jeju Island here, very near to Busan. I was born in here and growing up there until I graduated high school. Then I moved to Seoul, but I missed a lot of my hometown. When I visited my hometown about 10 years ago, I found very serious problem because of the discarded oil shale. This area covered over 80% of oil production because we have very clean water and very good depth of the sea. So we have a lot of oyster farm, but problem, we ate meat of oyster, then put away the oil shell to the field, then made very bad odor, also made water pollution. That kind of things made another problem, community conflict, those who between farmers, oyster farmers, and those who doing not that kind of a farm. So I tried to solve this community problem. I started this job. As you can see, there are a lot of the stack of the oil, discarded oil shell. Yeah, it looks like the mount. First, when I started my business, because I worked for some education and training sectors, so I tried to make some toys which aid to my program. So I made this kind of the toys. So I made the name of the company is Toys N. I implemented this kind of workshop in Malaysia. I saw some people who from the Malaysia. Also, I did this kind of the social event. But as you know, COVID struck all over the world, especially for my business. I couldn't do at all because I couldn't get people around. So I gave up this business. Then I thought about what is the next good business. So I made this kind of cultural product, souvenir. Last summer, I introduced my product in Paris at Maison Objet. So after that exhibition, I got some order from the UK. My product is selling in the UK. Also, I shipped my product in 2 sites in France. Also, the day before yesterday, I received Best Award from the Ministry of Culture and Sport. So I made one success. But I have some ideas to make more biggest business, not like the toys and the souvenirs. I found if I can make fishing gears, I can do big business. So I found I can make this kind of fishing gears, the fishing trap for octopus, also short arm octopus. This kind of the fishing trap for eel. Yeah, in my knowledge, the Western people doesn't eat eel, but in Korea and Japan, we eat a lot of the eel. So I can make this kind of things. Also, this kind of the fishing trap with a filament. This can be made based on compounding discarded oil shell and biodegradable plastics. Every plastic can make based on the resin, which is not biodegradable plastic. But we can use biodegradable plastic and oil shell. If I compound discarded oil shell and biodegradable plastic, if we use fishing gears, then we can move back to the nature again. That is my next business. Yeah, but I'll give you a very brief of the process of production. I make this kind of the material mixed with the resin and oil shell. Then I did some the custom molding. Then I make this kind of a polishing and sanding process. Yeah, this is my factory. Yeah, the fourth floor located in this building. Through this my journey, I got the 6 registered patents. Also, I got 3 know-hows, components. Yep. The 6 components came in this material. Then compounding ratio between of the materials. Also condition. When I make this, I have to control the condition, temperature or some pressure. The last part is I can do mass production in Korea. Yep, this is my part. Yeah, but I would like to suggest one thing. I want to have some seminars about biodegradable plastic all over the Paris. When I started this business, I visited 국립수산과학원 and 국립해양수산개발원. I met a lot of professors, but they have a very different expertise and experience. If we get together, we can make new one or very prosperous things in the future. So I would like to have this kind of a workshop. Yeah, the last part, I made some good souvenir and present. When you have this kind of session, please buy my product in the future. Thank you.
네, 토이즈N의 우하연 대표.
Thank you very much, Mr. Woo Ha-young of Toys and for sharing the case on discarded oyster shells.
가리비 껍질을 재활용하여 환경 친화형 안전모를 제작한 혁신 사례를 중심으로 진행되겠습니다. 코시 화학공업 프로젝트의 테치야 남바라님을 무대로 모시겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 환영해 주시기 바랍니다.
The next speaker will be Mr. Tetsuya Nambara, General Manager of Koichi Chemical Industry, and he will be talking about using shell remains to create new types of helmets.
안녕하세요. Thank you for joining us. We are Koshi from Japan, and my name is Tetsuya Nambara. Today, we would like to introduce our initiative for the effective utilization of the scallop shell.
Okay, and my name is Suguru. I'm the member of creative team. And so Koshi is a plastic manufacturing company based in Higashi Osaka, Japan, and founded in 1969. And our mission is made from Earth and made for Earth, creating a product that coexist with the environment. And also our vision as more valuable options, create a society with many options to ensure a better future for everyone. Next slide, please. And today we are going to share our innovative product called Shellmet. This is the product born from the fisheries resources. So everyone, what is your favorite shellfish? I love eating abalone and oysters at Korea. And it is really, really good, right? So today we would like to share our creative process related to shellfish. Next slide, please. So just as oysters are loved here in Korea, the most popular shellfish in Japan is the scallop. People in Japan eat a quarter of world scallop catch, second only to China in terms of consumption. Although scallops are loved by many Japanese people, there was a big problem behind it. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Discarded scallop shells on the beach. About 40,000 tons of discarded shells are dumped on the shores of Sarutsu village in Hokkaido by exporters who withdrew from the market in 2021. There is also an environmental preservation issue causing groundwater contamination due to the release of trace amounts of cadmium attached to the shells. So there are about 270 local fishermen pride themselves in making a living by growing and catching scallops, but they now face with the guilt from scallop shells being the cause of pollution in the ocean. Next slide, please. So we hope to transform these discarded shells from mere waste into a new resources for the village to help shift to a circular economy. Our primary focus was on what the scallop shells were made of, calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is a flexible element that is often mixed with cement to enhance their strength. We worked to develop a new enhanced material using discarded shells, which is 100% recyclable. Next slide, please. Next, we thought about what to make from this new material. We knew that local fishermen working long hours at sea in unstable conditions with high risk of slipping and falling, so that they wore helmets to protect themselves from potential harm. If we could create helmets worn by fishermen, produced from the locally caught scallop shells, we could create a circular economy inside the village. Next slide, please. Based on the background and insights, we came up with an idea. Shells, which have protected themselves from external enemies, are now reborn to protect human lives as a helmet, the world's first helmet made from scallop shells. Next slide, please. The production process was kept simple. The discarded shells were crushed into powder, converted into pellets, poured into a mold, and molded into a helmet shape. Next slide, please. The first thing we prioritized was the design. There are many structures in nature that have been optimized over a long period of time. The wave shape of a seashell is a structural design intended to enhance strength. The application of this mechanism to technological development is called biomimicry. For example, the bullet train in Japan was inspired by the beak of a kingfisher to achieve higher speeds. So helmet is based on this concept of biomimicry and incorporates a rib structure unique to shells. As a result, the structure disperses impact and achieves 133% strength compared to regular helmets. It is made of 100% recyclable material, reducing CO2 emission by up to 36% compared to regular plastic. Next slide, please. Even after helmets have finished their role, it will be crushed, reborn, and reused as a brand new helmet. As the product is made of discarded shells, the more we make, the cleaner the ocean will become. It is now available for purchase online and in stores. We set the price at $34. That meets the price point of conventional helmets. Next slide, please. Available in 5 colors inspired by the ocean. 押してもらって大丈夫です。Coral white, ocean blue. あ、ごめんなさい。前のページお願いします。Coral white, ocean blue, sunset pink, deep black, and sand cream. 次のページお願いします。Helmet is designed to be worn by people of all ages and genders. When we launched this product, we had received a lot of great feedback and reactions. 次のページお願いします。Although there was no media budget, this news reached 3.2 billion people, more than 700 media outlets in 34 countries. This is including Korea's media as well. It wasn't just fishermen who wanted one, but it reached the general public throughout Japan, recorded almost 1,400% of our target sales only 2 months after launch. Next slide, please. It is also exhibited at the Museum of Art, Architecture and Technology in Lisbon, Portugal. Helmet was also chosen as the official helmet for the Osaka Expo 2025. So what's next for the helmet? We are focusing on developing a shell-derived material called Shell-Tech. This is we are branding it as a new protective material inspired by the strings of seashells. Shell-Tech is made by crushing discarded shells into powder and then mixing with recycled plastic. This material strength is approximately 33% higher compared to regular plastic. In addition to scallop shells, it can also be made using marine waste containing calcium carbonate, such as mussel shells or oyster shells as well. We have been receiving inquiries from many brands since the launch of Shellmat and this shell-derived materials. For example, the ANA, one of the largest airlines in Japan, introduced the material for our in-flight items. And also the fashion brand Camper adapted it as the buttons for the bags. Furthermore, by combining 3D printing technology, it will be possible to apply it to large-scale products and architecture projects in the future. So in July of this year, we launched the Shell Tetrapod as well. And this is a sustainable tetrapod that reduced sand consumption by up to 50% by using Shell-Tech. It also increased blue carbon, which absorbs carbon in the ocean. Ideally, we aim to evolve in the many products, including suitcases or smartphone cases or earbuds cases as well. So this project not only aims to eliminate 40,000 tons of discarded shells in Hokkaido, but also there is a potential for expansion in the fishing community, such as Korea and Europe and elsewhere. So our grassroots project started from Japan can be duplicated anywhere in the world. We hope that Shellmat and its material can help protect human lives and our oceans all over the world. So if anyone is struggling with the disposal for the discarded shells or is interested in using to create sustainable products from ocean waste, please feel free to talk to me after the presentation. So thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
네, 큰 박수 보내주시기
Please give them a big round of applause. We heard from the Koshi chemical industry, and they were using the scallop remains to develop new types of products.
바랍니다.
For the next presentation, I'd like to invite Mr. Ian Falconer, CEO of Fish Filaments from the UK. He will share an innovative case study on developing and launching commercial 3D printing materials by recycling end-of-life fishing nets. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ian Falconer. I'm the CEO and founder of Fishy Filaments. Fishy Filaments is a fishing net recycling company. What are we for? Well, we're for two different things. From a fisheries perspective, we're here to make life easier, simpler, and cheaper for the fishing community by dealing with their fishing net waste. And from a technology point of view, we're here to make it possible to recycle used fishing nets into an ultra-low carbon raw material for advanced manufacturing. So the type of waste that we particularly deal with is called nylon monofilament. It's a nylon 6 used in globally in quite a lot of different scales. Many of you will have experienced stockpiles of used fishing nets like this around the world. And what we do is we use our patent-pending recycling technology and processes to transform that material into something like this. This is a project that we did with Philips Lighting in Holland to take our material into a 3D printing filament, and they used it to produce light shades to relaunch a global brand called My Creation, which is a global brand for lighting fittings, 3D printed around the world. So, as you can see, it's a very attractive material and very high value material too. Regulatory approved both in the EU and US for use in light fittings, which is no mean feat for a recycled plastic. Our successes to date: we've launched the world's first commercially available 3D printing product made from 100% used fishing gear. The carbon emissions of that process are only 2 to 3% of the virgin equivalent, so 97% lower. And we've also launched a carbon fibre enhanced version of that material, which is price parity and actually stronger than the competitors at only 5% of the carbon emissions of their competitors. In order to get to where we have got to, we've had to go out and find investors. This is not a government or academically funded project. This is entirely privately funded. And we have currently around 1,200 investors in 40 different countries. We've done that through equity-based crowdfunding. We have global supply and distribution agreements with one filament distribution brand. So we've had some major successes in global design awards with Philips and other people too. And we've won a few awards, most recently actually day before yesterday in our local technology awards, where we won the Tech Southwest Startup of the Year. So how have we achieved these successes? Well, we changed the business focus away from being a waste management project to being a pollution control to being a resource maximisation project. So don't treat the nets as waste, treat the nets as a resource. And we backed that up by developing a robust recycling process that was proprietary and broke new ground in terms of scale and efficiency. And part of that was actually bringing the scale of the recycling process right down so that it was applicable to the harbour side, and which is why we're here today. It's community scale, so it works within the community at the appropriate scale. We've had a number of challenges as we've gone through that process since 2016. It was an unproven technology process, so we've had to gain some both market acceptability and technological acceptability and regulatory acceptability to make sure that we could sell our products into the market. There was loads of local interest from the fishing industries, from the waste management point of view, but we had to actually break new ground in the market side to make the material acceptable and attractive in the downstream side of the market. So finding the correct buyers at the correct price was a challenge, and we had to think of new ways of doing that. And approaching the 3D printing business was one of those ways that we did it. The scale-up economics of the competing ways of dealing with nets are embedded in the waste management industry, so we had to work against those. So a lot of competing solutions out there work at a far, far larger scale and can work on economies of scale, which we were working against. So there was a number of challenges there that we had to get over. But we got over them. And we did that by engaging with very high value markets very quickly. We changed the perception of the waste nets from being a waste to being a resource, and an attractive resource at that. And we had to understand where in our supply chains, especially in our downstream supply chains, where other people were adding value and where they were not, and to avoid the ones that were not, and to work preferentially with the companies and organisations that were adding most value. Along the way, we are talking about communities, and we are talking about established communities and the way that they work. So we have to be sensitive to both the traditions and the cultures that we work within, and just going in with a large-scale industrial attitude and saying, we're right, you're wrong, that's really not the way to get community acceptance, especially in a relatively conservative industry like fishing, and rightfully so. We shouldn't be going around and telling people what to do. We should be working with them to reach common goals. But at the same time, we have to do that from very much a profit-oriented centre point. it's not going to work at a global level if we don't make profit doing it. We can't do it as a philanthropic organisation. We have to do it as a company. So we had to be quite rigorous and quite tight about how we dealt with organisations that perhaps wanted our time and our resources, but weren't contributing to the overall end goals that we had. And we have to be an advocate for the company all the way from face-to-face liaisons with the fishing communities we work with, all the way to UN level and policy making, as they're doing in Busan right now. And previously where we've worked with the Commonwealth in understanding the challenges, especially of small island states in the Plastic Pollution Treaty. So in operational terms, what does this mean? What do we actually do? Well, we recycle the fishing nets at source. We add as much value as possible in harbour. That means employing people in harbour. It means doing the recycling in harbour. And we expand the markets that we can to build as much value in harbour as we possibly can. Now, none of the things that we're doing are particularly fancy. They're all in the same kind of realm that fisheries do right now with their own products. We're just treating the end-of-life nets in a slightly different way to the way that they have been historically. In short, we treat the end-of-life nets as fishermen should and do treat their fish. So what's our next goal? Our next goal is to go global, to take the solutions that we've proven in Cornwall in the UK and take that out and solve the world's problems. In Cornwall, we only have around 50 to 100 tonnes of these nets a year. There's maybe 150,000 tonnes of nylon monofilament nets made every year. So we've got a very large global challenge on our hands. And we do that by rolling out our hardware, the proprietary hardware, and to build some novel business structures around that hardware. As you can see, it's a containerized recycling plant. On the right-hand side there, blurred out, because it's a little bit commercially sensitive still, is some novel shredding equipment, which is designed specifically for nylon monofilaments, and it carries out both shredding and densification and cleaning processes all in one go. That small piece of hardware is actually quite revolutionary, and it radically changes the economics of fishing net recycling in harbour and can be run off a solar panel. So completely off-grid. We don't need to plumb it into the mains. We don't need to supply it with water. To do the full recycling plant, obviously, with a wash plant on the back of that, we do need water, we do need power. But that's for the next stage. The first stage is to get those shredders out and to transform the waste management problems away from being a liability and transform those nets into being an asset for smaller communities around the world. And that's it, thank you.
네, 좋은 발표.
Thank you very much for such an insightful and informative presentation. Using the end-of-life fishing nets, well, using the 3D printing scanned into a whole new product and ideas. Let us move on to the next presentation.
다음 발표는
It will be by Ms. Christina Stefani from Aquafuel, BCF Marketing and Circularity. Please give a big round of applause.
맞으시기 바랍니다.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Today, I would like to introduce you our circular innovation by design concept, meaning we had success in creating the first fully circular net for aquaculture. How this project roots? It roots basically in the principles of circular economy. So we started from the fact that we wanted to create a fishing net that was not meant in the linear economy way. Linear economy means you get some resources, you use them, and then you have waste. With the recycling economy, what happens is that you have resources, so you use resources, you maybe reuse once more, but then you have to waste them. With circular economy, you have resources, or better, as you will see in a slide, we do not scout new resources from the earth, but what we do, we want to reuse, 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 reuse endlessly the resource without having waste. And this is our first circular net for aquaculture. How did this start? We are the leader of the project, and Aquafil is an Italian company making nylon 6. Our flagship product is Econyl nylon, which is entirely circular already itself as an ingredient. And I say circular because it's 100% made of waste already. So what we do with our chemical recycling plant, we collect waste in the rescue phase up in the right. So we collect waste from all over the world. So we already collect fishing nets from Chile, from Japan, from Norway, from all over the world. But we collect also other waste, such as old carpets or industrial scraps. Then, what we do, in our chemical regeneration plant, we recycle it. We regenerate it into new Econyl nylon. Then we remake new nylon out of it, and our customers can reimagine new products. And in case of fishing nets, we needed a partner that wanted to challenge with us the industry. And we found one. We found Diopas, which is a Greek family-owned company who accepted the challenge and said, yes, okay, I'm interested in developing this project with you. So he made actually the first fishing net in Econyl nylon, so 100% recycled fishing net. Then he had to find one of his customers, one of the biggest aquaculturer in Greece, which is called Philosophish. So for him, it was an experiment. He invested, he decided, yes, okay, I can try to put some fishes at an industrial scale in one of my aquacultures. And that's what he did. We installed the first fishing net, and he really wanted to stress it. So it behaved, and it was conceived to behave like a normal fishing net coming from nylon 6. So it's still in the waters since the beginning of April right now, and it's a truly industrial scale fishing net. So the circumference is 60 meters, the depth of the net is 10 meters, and the weight is between 500 and 600 kilos. So it's designed to be fully eco-recyclable in nylon. This is the deployment of the net. So when we put it into the waters of Greece, and you can see some pictures that we took, it's actually the first one, the red one with copper on it. And this is the team that was there when the installation was done. And we decided to launch this fishing net on a, how can I say, worldwide scale. So we started to promote this circular fishing net in several exhibitions and events. This one, for instance, was in June this year in Barcelona. There was this international exhibition which is called Seafood Expo Barcelona, and we actually launched this fishing net there, telling the world that having a circular fishing net for aquaculture is possible. So we have an alternative to landfill or incineration when fishing nets reach its end of life. This is another episode. We were in Italy. It was in September. There was the G7 government and ministerial agriculture and fisheries summit. And we had this speech with the leaders of the industry explaining that we can have circularity in aquaculture. Then it's not a myth, it's not a concept, it's not a plan that we have, but it's something that we can really achieve and do. So I'm here today to tell you this story, and for two reasons, basically. First of all, as I said at the beginning, our ECONYL regenerated nylon is made out of waste. So if you know that in Korea someone is facing a problem with fishing nets, with discarded fishing nets that are getting waste, we are able to collect them and regenerate them into new ECONYL nylon. Second, of course, the story that I told you finds place in Greece, so it's something European, maybe a little bit far from here, but we are truly convinced that we can replicate and scale it up all over the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Cristina Stefani from Aquafil. We were able to have some insights to recycling and reuse.
다음 발표자
I'd like to invite our next presenter who will share another case of utilizing and recycling discarded fishing nets. I'd like to invite Mr. Pan Jun, the CEO of %Of, for his presentation. Please welcome him with a big hand. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pan Jun, the CEO of %Of. %Of makes sunglasses from discarded fishing nets. We respond to marine pollution and degradation, environmental degradation due to discarded fishing nets, and we are offering new experiences to consumers. We launched new product for the first time in February this year, as you know too well. About half of the plastic waste, the marine waste, is plastic waste. And every year, about 1.2 million tons of discarded fishing nets are abandoned and neglected every year around the world. In Korea, that amounts to 44,000 tons. 44,000 tons is the amount of the waste produced and generated by a city of Incheon, which has the population of 3 million. That's really something. And %Of focuses on the material properties of discarded fishing nets. Most of the fishing nets are made of nylon. The nylon, as you can see on the right side of the slide, is used to make sports sunglasses and other types of sunglasses from luxury brand. %Of aims at producing recycled pellets to make sunglasses. And this is the overall process of making %Of sunglasses. On the left side, you can see the satellite view. This is the satellite view of Cheongja Port in Ulsan. There we worked with the local government, fisheries cooperatives, and NASPA, as well as environmental groups, to collect discarded fishing nets. Then we sent that to NASPA located in Busan. And NASPA, this company, produces high purity recycled pellets out of this discarded fishing nets. And these pellets are sent to Daegu. The city of Daegu in Korea is known for eyewear manufacturing, as well as for textiles. Skilled and experienced craftsmen make eyewear. And on the far right, you can see the sunglasses case. Instead of using plastics to make this case, we used paper mold case. So this is the actual case. So 100% paper mold and the sunglasses made of discarded fishing nets makes a perfect combination. The far left, you can see POS 02-GN. It is known as Cheongja Port Edition. You can see it's dark green. We didn't use any kind of color and chemical dye here. Well, we have this color naturally from discarded fishing nets. The color is so beautiful, and it's lightweight and loved by so many consumers. And in the middle, you can see another model. The frame front is made of a 45% castor oil-based material from Arkema of France. And on the far right, you can see 100% paper-based case by Rivation. Another case highlighted this kind of approach. The end-of-life sunglasses will be collected by Persanov. And we remove the metal part from the sunglasses, and the frames are sent to NASPA and Arkema. And the recovery materials are used as raw materials for manufacturing new materials from the process. So circularity has been ensured. The name of the collection is Balanced Collection, since we aim at sustainability, including the sunglasses and cases. 60% of the total material used uses eco-friendly materials. This castor oil-based biomaterial, paper mold, as well as recycled nylon pallets. And we have reduced the carbon emissions by 6 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent. This is as much as not using 213 paper cups. For the total collection, about 23.3 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. That is equivalent of the effect of planting 2,600 or so pine trees in 30 years of age. And you can see how stylish it is. We have eco-friendliness as well as style. Since we strike the balance between the two, the collection is named Balanced Collection. And we have a 2-year product guarantee and warranty period. So even if it's broken in the middle of use, at least for that first 2 years, you have the product warranty. And as I mentioned, in the middle, we have this case. It's made of paper, and you'd discard any plastic case, but since this is paper other than the magnet, this is made out of paper other than the magnet, you can just recycle it. Why don't we have a look at our brand campaign? So we have the eco-friendly material as well as sustainability and the style. So most of the cases, the eco-friendly materials would have a too simple or too old style. But in order to overcome such limitations, we focused a lot of efforts on style, and we highlight the balance. So the catchphrase for our ads is "so it's cooler." These are the images we use for our Instagram ads. So it's cooler. We created sunglasses out of end-of-life fishing nets. That's the catchphrase. So these are the main features we have highlighted and we have focused on. As for the design keywords, but it's minimalist, balanced, and functional. You can see the metal logo. It's only on the left side in order to reduce the carbon emissions. In total, we have 15 SKUs, 5 models, and 3 colors for each model. The green model, this is our signature model because we did not use any dyes. It's naturally from the fishing nets. So this is our persona. Since our product launch in February, over the last 9 months, we can see that actually these types of people who love our products and our routine customers. And this is about the market overview and among our various activities, but this is the key part. We are working with Greenpeace, and the documentary film has been almost completed. And there is a documentary film titled The Signal, and part of our revenue from 1% all the way up to 10% will be donated under the name of our fans to the Greenpeace documentary project. You'll be able to see what this documentary, the 7 different stories are featured in this documentary, and Hanya's story will be also featured in this documentary. Please keep this in mind and make sure that you have a look at this one. We have, just like other fashion items, we have been working closely with fashion platforms. Thankfully, we have received a lot of media coverage. In particular, as for News Penguin, they are climate-related news media, and Mushinsa, the largest fashion platform in Korea, they have highlighted our products. Well, that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for such an insightful presentation. That was Hanjun, a percent of discarded fishing nets can be turned into such great fashion item.
선물을 활용하여
Next, we have Cha Won-young, CEO of Marine Innovation, up next. Please give a big round of applause.
네, 안녕하세요.
Good afternoon. I am Cha Won-young, CEO of Marine Innovation. Today, I would like to talk about a topic that's slightly heavy but very important. These 3 images that you see up on the screen. Do you know what they symbolize? First one, it's the climate crisis. This summer was extremely hot, and some other countries suffered from large-scale floods. I'm sure there were some natural disasters experienced by the country that you came from. Second, after the climate crisis, we are experiencing the food crisis, and this is something that matters now. And third is environmental pollution. The plastic that we use every day. Now, microplastic is coming back to us, and so it can be threatening to us and our children. We need to address these 3 issues. How can we do that? You already know the answer. It's seaweed. And using seaweed, we were able to trigger innovation. And I would like to explain to you about that process. First of all, regarding climate crisis, we can use seaweed to address that issue. If we aquafarm seaweed, it absorbs high amounts of CO2. It's 5 times greater than forests on land. So the more aquafarming of seaweed spreads out throughout the world, it can help absorb the CO2 that is in the ocean and is in the world. And this can help fishing communities to be a part of the carbon credit trading scheme, generating additional income. Second, We are using the seaweed and using the extracts and byproducts. The extracts we are using to create food, and the byproducts we are using to create material. So as you can see on this slide, the food, these are some of the types of food. We have seaweed, kelp, and kim that we eat every day, and we are using extracts to develop different types of pudding, and we are working with our partners to come up with alternative types of meat to help contribute to addressing food security. And then there are the byproducts that are not edible. We throw it away sometimes in the landfill or in the ocean. So we are, remember the paper plates that you use today and the different types of containers for lunch boxes and so on. We are manufacturing those type of containers, and we can recycle them. So on the far right, you see the packaging trays. So we can recycle the plates that you use today to create the packing trays on the right. And we are making effort to continuously develop this type of technology to be able to make paper, like the calendars, diaries, and so on. And we are actually already selling these products, like you see in the middle, the paper and stationery. So I think this can help address the three issues that I mentioned earlier. And many people ask me this question: you create these high quality products, are you certified? Yes, of course. From DIN Certico, we were verified that it takes 56 days to decompose our products. And so we received a biodegradation certification. So usually green products take 6 months. How did you reduce that to 56 days? So we were asked that question, and that is because we use seaweed. And the research institutes asked us why the seaweeds can be decomposed so easily. Because there is ingredient that accelerates the biodegrading process. And we do not create any microplastic. So that has been all verified by research institutes. We received eco-friendly product certification in Korea, and all of the coating we use shells and the peel of shrimps and so on. So the entire product is green. And I believe that this is a very important business model, and we have guests from all over the world, and we have participants from fishing communities all over Korea. And I hope that this can help contribute to your local economy. First, spread the aqua farm of seaweed. You can use the blue carbon to be involved in the carbon credit trading scheme that will generate additional income. Then you can develop the different foods and different packaging, and then develop the packaging boxes. And then at the end of the box, it can be used for fertilizer. So it's a full circle circulation. Its entire process is green, and it's a technology that is absolutely necessary all over the world. So the UN and World Bank are also contacting us so that we can transfer this knowledge and technology to developing countries. And so I would like to talk a little bit about our company, Marine Innovation. We cannot summarize our company in one slide, but we have some successful business models and certifications and awards on this slide. As you know, we have PNG and other large Korean companies as partners. We work together with Chanel Korea on the packaging. And we have been receiving diverse array of certifications. We have gone through various verification processes and awards. And recently, we received the award at a contest and competition that was held in Saudi Arabia. And also, we received the award in Food Tech event recently. I think we have been recognized in the award ceremonies because of our green technologies. And so the government and the awarding agencies are all eager to kind of review our technology. And I think that is why we have been selected for these awards. We have a quite extensive portfolio of IPs. We have the IP regarding the material and the process. So regarding the process of making paper out of seaweed and using the pulp mold method to create different types of products is patents that we hold. And we were able to receive 100 billion Korean won, around 80 million US dollars in IP financing. So this is very important capital for us to start mass production. This equipment is making 120 million units of our products using seaweed. Large-scale production is essential to bring down the costs. And so I believe that compared to any other eco-friendly product out in the market, we have the strongest cost competitiveness. So once we are able to leverage these machinery, our profitability will be showing significant growth. And I'd like to highlight this map. We started the business in Korea, but we are venturing into all parts of the global community. We can export from Korea, but we would like to venture ourselves out of Korea. So in the US, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, we are hoping to localize our business model, and I believe that that kind of spread of our business model can help address the major issues that we are facing today, and we can create a better future for our children and future generations so that they will not live in an environment that is contaminated and dangerous. I believe that we need to end those problems in our generation. And I think right now it's important to create partnerships and develop business models. And I am very honored to be able to share our business model with you today. And I hope that you will take our model to your local communities and also build upon these models to create better business models for the future. Thank you. Yes, that was CEO Cha Won-young from Marine Innovation.
So
Let us move on to the next presenter. Mr. Ha Ji-hoon of Port House will share his experiences in utilizing and making the most of discarded marine resources for creating added values for coastal area. Abandoned vessels are perceived to be just waste, but Port House is renovating the space for leisure and creation. You can have this whole new experience at sea. Port House will create memories for the customers, and we also care for the sustainability as well as the local environment. We grow with the local community. Port House creates a sustainable space at sea.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Jun-ha. Today, I'm going to talk about how the old ship and the unused ships going to high value added products and they're going to service. As you can see these photos, in Korea, there's lots of ships abandoned. However, in Port House, it's different. As you can see, Port House has a ship, tourism, and a vacation side. In the marine side, as you can see, more than 90% as more than plastics is having an issue in the over the world. In Korea, more than 165 plastics getting increased, and the Korean peoples are getting increased about the perspective view of the increase 70%. So the Port House is targeting the FRP vessels. As you can see, more than vessels 65,000 ships are abandoned. However, we are targeting 61% of the target. So in Korea, we spend up the abundant ships more than 100 million won. And then about the collection status is Korea has a lot of abandoned. So when we talk about these items, each generation having a hard time and having an issue about these items. Generation X, Y, Z generation having a hard time and playground about the shipping side. So Port House give you the solution, how to this solution. So we offer this revolutionize as a life value. In the past, in Korea sending the abandoned ships from the China, Bangladesh, and India or Pakistan. However, we are different. So how this port house getting processed? Port house is making a process as drama. When you see the photos, there's planning, space, and operations, and we are making those 3 steps. The 2 key components are important from the port house: content and technology. Technology is people's convenient use and the efficiency management. And the content, people's how do they like it. In the past time, when we go to travel, we go to each components by 1. However, as times go by, 2024 is combined as 1, and making promotion methods, we got to talk about each local side, and then we are making a new magic way. So this business model is going to blue ocean strategy. Government side and local side, we are going to combine as 1, and we are making blue ocean strategy. So port house has high value products and the service. For example, marine tourism, and then cruising, and then, for example, the workation. So for the old ships, going to external and interior. So let's take an insight on how to create it as a new space. So when you see the old ship, there's the old ship we can see. This is the first model in the port house. As an inside, you can see the movie theater inside in here. And for the 2 spaces we can see. And we can eat the popcorn, etc. And then there's also, they have a living space so you can easily convenience to stay. So this is our first protocol of the port house, what we can start. So when we compare by the Korea side and internal side, Korea has a growth stage of the marine market. However, in the world, there is a maturity stage in the world. When you take a look at it, the United States, China, and the United Kingdoms are all well known as a marine tourism. However, Korea is the last tourism in this market. So from the Airbnb side, more than 40 people are living in the ocean side, and then United States, England, and Netherlands are having a case study of where the people living in the water. Port house is going to making local content. For example, as the left side photos is Seoul, Busan, Ulsan, and Jeju Island. So for those contents we are building a local content industry. So for these items, we are having lots of stakeholders are combined. However, we are talking about marine side, tourism side, and official side. So we are making those as an ecosystem as a one. We have to take a look at this important thing. Busan is one of the interest #1 maritime technology. However, in the Korea, it's not in the city of the attractiveness. Why is that? Let's take a look at for the city which is attractive. Singapore, Netherlands, and England, and etc. Those countries are well known as a marine side. However, in Korea, they don't have not well known as startup or company. That's why we don't have an attractive seat and the competitiveness. For this item, for the last sum up, to expect that we can benefit as a local and government and our company. This model showing that how the port house is going to make it growth as a Jacob. We are going to launch as the first model as next year March until 2030, and then we will make this case study for over the world. Lastly, these are our missions that which we start. We restore the marine ecosystem and create the sustainability. We are thinking of the UN SDG, and we are making these items. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ha Ji-hoon of Port House. Abandoned and discarded vessels can be used for multiple purposes. Now, we'd like to turn to best practices and ideas for revitalizing fishing community businesses. And at this time, we will also listen to college students for their creative ideas.
공단 어촌
First, we have Mr. Yoon Min Son from the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. Please give a big round of applause.
네, 안녕하십니까?
Good afternoon. My name is Yoon Min Son, and I'm from the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. Welcome to the best practice ideas for revitalizing fishing community tourism, and my title is Public-Private Partnership for Boosting Income Through Fishing Village Tourism. So fishing villages are facing many challenges and trends are changing rapidly. Then what is happening to the fishing community's tourism? What should be the direction forward? I would like to talk about the reality and trends and then move on to introduce some of the public-private partnership programs. First, if you look at the tourism, there was some efforts made back in 2001 and policies were initiated to promote fishing village tourism. It has been 20 years. We have laid the legal grounds and implemented various programs. There were some achievements that were made in the process. If you look at the number of villages, the villages provide 3 types of services: activities, accommodation, and food. The reality, they say, however, is difficult. I think we need to look back on our role and responsibilities. Next are the trends. Trends are changing very quickly. And since the pandemic, we have been impacted severely in terms of tourism. In the past, tourism was large-scale group tourism. However, since COVID-19, we lost the contact point with customers and growth stalled. Then I will talk about the PPP programs. In fishing communities, there are unlimited tangible and intangible resources. But because of aging and the decline of fishing communities, there are not enough experts that can leverage those assets. Also, they lack financial resources. There is a lack of ideas that can create new business models and innovation. So in order to address these issues, we decided to find ways to cooperate with the private sector. This is the PPP-driven fishing village tourism programs. So based on private sector business models, the public sector is providing support. And at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to strengthen the self-sufficiency of the local villages. The corporates and the villages work together, and the profits are shared by those 2 stakeholders. We are trying 8 pilot projects, and 8 business models therefore have been developed for tourism. Such model is being more individualized and specified. And these models are expected to become local signature programs and tourist attractions. So let me go into detail. The Dehado village is working together with the Fill the Field, and they developed a content to attract tourism. And Gwagyangju is partnering with local motives to come up with the Gourmet Festa. The Muchangpo village is working with Tour Gongbang, and they have developed 2 biking trails, what's called the Amazing Bike Trail. And Jeburi village is working together with Insand, has developed Shipnik, a picnic content with ocean view. The Susan village is partnering with Penguin Ocean Leisure. They're using idle spaces to host parties on rooftops with ocean view. And the Kunhang village is working together with Guide Me to create a unmanned store and Kunhang Sea Ramen Cafe. And Kimnyang village is working together with Teba Company to develop Henya programs and host international tourists. And Changbao village is working together with Seisiot to turn idle space into service lounge and develop activity content, conducting periodic promotion. Such tourist model, I think, is about diversifying the service models of fishing communities, also contributing to local revitalization. At the same time, we were able to attract private capital. This is the first attempt, so there will be areas of improvement. But I think these models will become more advanced and more spread out nationwide. So this is our first year, but next year and the next couple of years, we plan to expand this program. We will be also trying to attract more private partners. Fishing communities are in crisis, and it cannot be addressed by one agency alone. We need to work together, public sector, government, the villages, all together to overcome these issues together. Thank you. I would like to thank Yoon Min-sun from Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency. I think his last words were insightful. I think we need to all work together to address common challenges.
발표는
The next speaker is Mr. Im Jong-soo of Field the Field. He will highlight the Taeyado Island Fishing Village Experience project. Please welcome him with a big hand. Good afternoon. I'm Im Jong-soo of Field the Field. I'd like to talk about the Taeyado Island Fishing Village Experience and Recreation Program Public-Private Partnership Project. Let me ask you one question before I begin my presentation. In 2024, what is the demographics of the fishing communities of Korea? Korean fishing communities are facing extinction beyond population crisis. The rate of aging is double the national average. Only about 10% of all returning fishers are under 40, highlighting the shortage of young people. To brace ourselves for such an aging trend, understanding that there are not many measures to respond to this aging population in fishing communities, we focused on the PPP project to closely work with the private sector. Based on the business ideas of the private sector, we developed a new tourism content for Taeyado Island. Rather than just giving content to idle spaces, we have been working with Taeyado residents. One question we have to ponder: does Taeyado have a tourism potential, and is it competitive enough as a tourism attractions? Taeyado has a population of 150 or so, and most of their visitors are in their 40s, primarily coming for fishing. As you can see, in order to go to Taeyado, you have to go through popular tourist destinations in Namyeon-do or Boryong, Dacheon Beach, reaching Taeyado via the undersea tunnel. That means, you have to go through additional 15 minutes of travel and higher cost. Nevertheless, is there any reason for tourists to go to Taeyado no matter what? In other words, how can Taeyado attract more visitors and tourists? As you can see, indiscriminate local development projects and festivals without identity are not innovative solutions for revitalizing tourism, because there are so many large structures that people are not interested in, local festivals that no one knows who they are for. Then how will the content business change in the future? The answer is the combination of local and community. Then what makes cities and neighborhoods locally strong? I believe the answer lies with creative and storytelling. Based on this, we wanted to create a time and space where staying itself becomes a journey, and where fascinating stories and intriguing people converge, good rest, and enjoy meet. The beautiful island Taeyado, where taste and preferences linger. And shared library, Muhae or Harmless. Harmless Muhae features a whole new concept workation center, combining a travel-focused shared library tailored to individual taste and a workplace space for nomadic creators. In order to ensure efficient space planning and distinctive community programs, we created a creator table, and we also featured and developed a shared library as well as community room. As you can see, a closed school was repurposed into a pension cafe and a multi-purpose cultural space. And A shared library created in collaboration with the independent bookstore for book curation was installed here. We closely work with a most representative independent bookstore, Thanks Books. So we successfully created quality books there. We also developed a Teatro contemplative trip program as a tourism content. So visit to Korea's representative independent bookstore, various ceremonies, book talk, intoxicated reading, and using various natural resources. We've developed various programs in combination of natural resources and the beautiful landscape. As you can see, the shared library is not just for reading books, but also exhibiting photos of the graduates of the closed school in Teado alongside created books, giving meaning to local and spatial context. And we also created a sense of belonging to local community and library space through participation of various influences and creators from planning to completion. In addition to that, we pursued sustainable village communication through book donation projects for Teado residents. This ensured the sustainability of the space. We also improved curation quality through collaboration with Thanks Books, a leading domestic independent bookstore. And this has improved the quality of the space as well. We also wanted to do some space building, space branding to make the entire island village become a library beyond the spatial limitations of a shared library. Through this case, we wanted to develop a community-based local branding. This is not just about content, but also, as mentioned by Mr. Yoon, is to ensure mutual growth between the private businesses and the fishing communities, developing and commercializing business models suited to local characteristics to address the lack of tourism ideas in fishing village areas. We started with Teado in November 2024, but we'd like to extend this to other fishing communities nationwide, since each fishing community has their own valuable resources. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your project and the case study about Teado. I'd like to ask for your continued support and interest.
공간에
Next, we are going to continue our topic on reinterpreting fishing community space. Please welcome Speaker Park Jiro of Locomotive.
네, 안녕하세요.
Good afternoon. We are Locomotive and we are changing the landscape of fishing communities. We are looking into architecture all the way up to F&B. We have about 30 employees and we're working to change the fishing community environment. And today, our topic is reinterpreting the definition of fishing villages. I would like to focus on the structure of fishing villages that enable us our business model. Fishing community is not just a production hub anymore. Everyone is talking about this change, but a lot of the policies are still focused on its production role. The Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries, since 2 years ago, has worked to attract an anchor company within each fishing community, and I think that is very effective. And we are in Taeanggun Gonamyeon, and I would like to share our experience on how Korea is trying to reinvent its fishing community. So on the left, in the past, to support fishing communities, the policy was focused on delegating all of the responsibilities to the main members of the village who were highly senior citizens. So they were not able to really bring about any changes regarding the processing and activities. Now, the existing residents continue their role, and companies like ourselves, Porter House is also another good partner of a fishing community, and developing new distribution channels and adapting to new technology is being implemented by these anchor companies like ourselves. So population is the biggest issue of not fishing communities but of Korea, and we are trying to develop ways to attract the second generation baby boomers back to fishing communities. it's not just about having the desire. I think we need to establish a virtuous cycle so that there can be inflow of population into fishing communities. And as you can see on the slide, youth or baby boomer generation or people with various professional backgrounds like IT, maybe they won't have full residence in fishing communities, but maybe they will spend 1 month or once a week. So we are trying to support various forms of residence. This has one key characteristic. Like you see in the center of the slide, there is an anchor organization. So there are many different stakeholders. You can see the fishing committee on the right and Taeanggun, the local government, on the left. And on the bottom, there is the linker group. There will be linkers. We need to develop the linkers directly or attract the linkers to the fishing committees. That is the role of the anchor. And as you can see on this slide, the linker, anchor, and the residents need to form bond so that their partnership can be evolved all the way into economic business models. And already we are seeing its effects. And Mr. Yoon came from Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency, and we really feel that they have been very supportive. Going beyond production, I think they are really supporting additional income in terms of tourism and other business models. I think fishing communities are considered to be some type of resorts, but they are not always resorts. I think we also need to change that perception and to be able to deliver various types of services. So there were various products that were being produced in this village, and we went to Taiwan to try to market our products. And also we are trying to develop new distribution channels. So this village is located in the western coastal lines, which is a very beautiful landscape. Everyone loves the ocean, but the reality is that more people are flowing from fishing communities to the cities. So we are working together with the ministry to reverse that flow. So 3 years from now, there will be I hope you visit our village. We will be increasing population and increasing income level so that the changes made in a fishing village can change the regional economy and go further to change the Korean economy. I think what the fishing communities are facing now is problems faced by the entire society and economy. And if you are interested in the project, I hope that you will continue to support the anchor companies. Thank you.
네, 로컬모티브의
Yes, that was Mr. Park, CEO of Local Motive. Thank you for that very energetic presentation.
어촌 관광 활성화
We'd like to turn to the best practices, ideas for revitalizing fishing community tourism. Now I'd like to invite Professor Lee Sang-cheol of Bugyeong National University for the background as well as the purpose of this open call.
Welcome to special presentation session of the student competition on fishing community business ideas. My name is Sang-cheol Lee from Bugyeong National University. I'm deeply honored to speak today on behalf of the managing committee. The committee comprises professors from 4 national universities, including me, Professor Jae Hwang from Jeonnam National University, and Hyojin Kim from Mokpo National University. We are present here today. This competition was established to inspire university students, encouraging them to design unique business ideas centered around the fishing community. Our shared goal is very simple: to nurture future generations who will contribute to the revitalization of fishing community and promote sustainable growth in the blue economy. We are delighted to see student participation from various academic fields. Their diverse perspective and creative approaches has brought a fresh idea to the table and reflecting not only their knowledge and hard work, but also their passion for beauty and potentials of our fishing village. On behalf of the managing committee, thank you for joining us to celebrate the students' hard work. Okay, let's now move on to their presentation. Thank you.
네, 이상철 교수님 친절한 설명.
Thank you, Professor Lee, for your kind introduction. Now, we'd like to turn to the first presentation. Chung Hae-won of Bugyeong National University will give her presentation. Please welcome her with a big hand.
Hae-won Chung, Hae-won Chung, the leader of the Dojangpo team. Our team joined this competition to uncover the hidden charm of the Dojangpo fishing village and propose innovative ideas to utilize this resource of tourism. Even in village where fishing tourism is developed, issues such as over-tourism pose challenges to sustainability, creating a form of polarization in fishing village. Our team has prepared our idea on visual presentation. Now let us introduce our ideas with video clip.
Dojangpo village has the history of 1,000 years. We want to learn more about Dojangpo village. We conducted an interview with the head of Dojangpo village. So what history does Dojangpo village have?
예전에 일본에서 중국으로 유역하는 도자기 배들이 바람을 피해서 이 마을로 들어왔다고 전해집니다. 우리 할아버지 때까지 그런 배들이 들어왔다고 하시더라고요. 지금 저기 보면 그 청수산이라고 있어요. 저기가 도자기 보관 창고가 있었다고.
What is the unique charm of Dojangpo village?
일반적인 관광지 같은 경우는 좀 인위적으로 이렇게 많이 만들어 놓은 도장포 마을은 이제 바람이 흔들기 자연적으로 만들어져 있는 그런 공간이 우리 마을 주민들도 몰랐어요. 바람이 흔들기 지어진 걸 한 15년 전부터 관광객들이 들어오면서 바람에 흔들기 어디에요 물어보는 그런 분들이 많았거든요.
What are the challenges faced by the local residents of the village?
제일 고충이 관광객이 너무 많이 들어오다 보니까 지역 주민들은 굉장히 피곤하고 차 많이 밀리죠. 교통이 제일 불편하고 그다음에 소음.
It served as an intermediate warehouse for importing and exporting ceramics from China and Japan for about 10,000 years from the Yuan dynasty in China. Compared to tourists who flock every year, there is a limit to the accommodation of tourists due to the narrow parking space. It is difficult for tourists to stay and consume. About 31 billion won in subsidies from the government was able to expand parking facility and lay the financial foundation for the village development fund. In the past, tourists were attracted due to the promotional effect, but the number of tourists visiting the Dojangpo village trended to decrease continuously. Currently, government agencies are carrying out support to projects for marine tourism development every year. According to KMI data, it can be said that the size of the leisure industry continues to increase and the possibility of development is high. We would like to solve problems related to leisure facilities with subsidy. We would like to reoperate the experience center that is not operation and develop ceramic content with exotic programs. Dojangpo Village is receiving a lot of attention with various support. However, there is a lack of commercial facility around it due to communication program among local residents. We need to expand commercial facilities by persuading local residents based on seriousness of failing visitors and varying growth. Currently, it is solving the parking lot problem with support, and as it is famous tourist destination, it can solve the transportation problem if public transportation is activated. As it is destination visited by various age groups, it is necessary to develop products suitable for age groups. We would like to break down the complacency of the residents and listen to their opinions and develop tourism products related to ceramics to enhance the sustainability of tourism.
Today we introduce the strategy of revitalizing fishing village tourism. We hope our idea serves as a small step toward unlocking a new possibility. Thank you for listening.
네, 부경대학교
Thank you very much. 정혜원 from Bukyong National University in Old Samrak Village, Dojangpo Village. This would be the first time for the students to share their presentations with such an audience. Please welcome them with a big hand.
그 해파리팀의
Next, we have from Jeju University, Moon Ji-kyung. Please give a big round of applause.
안녕하세요.
Good afternoon. My name is Moon Ji-kyung. I am from Jeju National University, and we are the jellyfish team. We explored ways to use seaweed and jellyfish as a sustainable resource. Our team is named Jellyfish. We looked into different ways to use jellyfish to create sustainable resources. The oceans in Jeju are experiencing higher temperatures that is causing severe issues. First of all, the number of Nomura jellyfish that has highly toxic materials is spreading very quickly, and the Shinyang beach is being overwhelmed by seaweed overgrowth. And so this is causing inconvenience to tourism in that area. So to address these issues, we came up with two types of ideas. One is using the seaweed that is being thrown away at the moment to develop foods. And second, using the Nomura lift jellyfish after removing the toxin, creating diet dry noodles. We need a conveyor system to manufacture seaweed. And to do that, you need a quite extensive process. And after this process, it can be used to create high value adding products. So the conveyor system includes collection, cleaning, and sterilization. And after these products, we can create new products. And Jeju is known for its clean environment, and we try to leverage that aspect to market these seaweed products. And we were also thinking of using other local signature products like shrimps, sea urchin, and trying to bundle these specialties together. We found that there was high level of high level of water, and after removing the tentacle and washing and salting, it can be turned into chewy diet dry noodles. So after market research, such product does not exist, so it is difficult to predict customer response, and there is a risk that there is no market for this yet. But I think the effective aspect on diets, and given the healthy food trend, I thought that we could still penetrate the market with this product. Also, we need to focus on its high nutritious properties. It has proteins, minerals, and vitamins. For our future plans, we need the resource circulation system like the conveyor belt. And also, for these two products, I think they are in line with the healthy food trend. So I think that health market is a market that we can penetrate. And the jellyfish noodle would be a totally new product category. So I think we can expand the product lineup with this new product. I hope that our ideas can help invigorate the local economy and contribute to food security issues. I am from Jeju University, so I talk about the issues that we are facing, but hope that our ideas can reach all parts of the world to contribute to sustainable marine resource environment and additional income generation for fishing communities. Thank you for your attention. Yes, that was from the jellyfish team of Jeju National University. The speaker was Moon Ji-young. I think she had some great ideas to go beyond Jeju Island and to the world.
I'd like to turn to Japja crew of Bugyang National University. Please welcome them with a big hand.
Hello, I'm Taeyeon Kim, team leader of Japja crew from Bugyang National University. We are honored to speak our thoughts in this venue. Today we present our vision for revitalizing in fishing villages in Korea through sustainable tourism. Let's start by addressing the challenges fishing villages face today. Why is fishing village tourism important? Korean fishing villages face population decline, aging infrastructure, and economic instability. That is why the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries has put two policies and is asserting the following three points in common. To address these, we used STEEP, 3C, and big data analysis, mainly used in social science. To analyze fishing village and fishing village tourism, we generated a word cloud by using big data. According to STEEP analysis, fishing villages face challenges from interrelated social, technological, environmental, economic, and political factors such as population decline, climate change, economic instability, and geopolitical risks. As a result of three kinds of analyses, we need to develop a fishing village tourism model that can encompass the analyzed content. So our solution is Oyo Pass, a 3-day themed travel program to revitalize fishing village tourism, which brands the region using specialties. It features unique experiences and rewards that meet the needs of various tourists and cooking adventure called 팔도밥상 seafood table. We created a patchwork linking Tongyeong's fishing village with a real-world application. Day one offers cultural immersion in Dongpirang and Dipirang. Day two highlights hands-on activities like mudflat exploration, And day 3 is all about the relaxation in Saryangdo. These experiences are packaged affordably, starting from 20,000 Korean won for a single day. By offering local specialties as rewards, these past tours aim to drive regional cooperation and prosperity. Our ultimate goal is to scale this model to revitalize fishing villages nationwide and boosting local economies and creating a win-win model for both communities and tourists. The proposed policy aims to enhance fishing villages by strengthening tourism infrastructure, marketing effects, and sustainability practices. These initiatives will drive population growth, improve public and private infrastructure, and revitalize economy, and ultimately evaluate fishers' quality of life. To strengthen our impact, we also propose investment in people. This involves training young and female fishers and hiring creators to promote fishing villages' online content. These strategies will enhance visibility and ensure long-term sustainability. Oyo Pass is not just tourism. It's a revival for fishing villages and a brighter future for all. Together, let us bring new life to fishing villages. Thank you.
네, 부경대학교 짭짤 크루 팀의
Thank you very much, Ms. Kim Tae-yeon of Bugyeong National University. So far, we have listened to 13 presentations. Through these presentations, I believe we have come to see the charm and attractiveness as well as the strength and potential of fishing communities around the nation. I'd like to appreciate all our presenters for the general discussion. We are making the arrangement of the sittings. Through the 13 presentations, we came to see some expert ideas and the contribution. While we are waiting for the sittings, after session 2, on the 5th floor from 5 p.m., we will have the opening ceremony of the ICFC 2024. Please join us for the opening ceremony, and please stay with us till the last program of this ICFC 2024. At the registration desk, you can join us for this satisfaction survey, and everyone who contribute the survey would receive a souvenir, a small gift we prepare. I think we've arranged all the sittings. Let us move directly on to general discussion.
하겠습니다.
There are a total of 5 panelists. I will introduce them one by one. Please greet them with a big round of applause. First of all, we have the moderator from the Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries, Mr. Hong Gun-hyung, and he is in charge of fisheries infrastructure. Yes, please find your name tag on the stage. Next, we have Mr. Yoo Sang-chul, a professor from Bugyeong National University. We already met him earlier today. Next, from Mokpo National University, we have Professor Kim Hyo-jin. Please give a big round of applause. Next, we have from Jeonnam National University, we have Hwang Jae-hee, assistant professor. Last but not least, from Kangwon Institute, we have Dr. Kim Chung-jae. Please greet him with a big hand. So I would now like to hand over the microphone to Mr. Hong Gun-hyung from Minister of Ocean and Fisheries. Good afternoon. I'm Hong Gun-hyung, And I would like to now begin the panel discussion. We have about 25 minutes. We heard total 13 presentations today. We talked about how Korea is trying to generate higher value from fishing communities. We were also able to learn from the cases of Japan and Italy and other countries in the world. And I was reassured that global communities are all working together for the same cause. And then we had some presentations from university students. I think that were quite refreshing and was an opportunity to listen to bold new ideas. I would like to give 4 minutes to each panel. I would like to start with Mr. Lee Sang-chul. Good afternoon. I am from Pugyong National University, and I would like to talk about the things that I learned from this session. I think we are talking about social, economic, and environmental sustainability, what we can do to address those issues. I was able to learn from speakers from home and abroad, and I was impressed by the multiple angles, from recycling all the way to managing the population decline. I think we were able to talk about the breadth of issues. What would be the commonalities among all of these issues? I think from the urban dwellers' perspective, the sustainability of oceans is not a critical or immediate issue. What is happening in the oceans cannot be understood until you actually go out there and experience it yourself. I think the many models and methods that were presented today were able to bring these more regional and specific issues to the broader public. For example, we were able to learn about how to use waste from marine environment to produce something that is useful in the modern society. And we were able to listen to many stories today. And people remember stories. And these type of stories help solve problems, but also attract interest and sympathy from the public, especially the marine environment suffering from ghost fishing. Using the waste fishing nets serving as a foundation for a circulatory economy, I think was very impressive. And in the process, I feel it was very important that the general public become more interested in the environment of the ocean. And I think we need to develop products and different services that can enhance contribution from the general public. Today, shells were used to make helmets. So every time a person uses those helmets, that person will think about the ocean environment. That will help change perception. Also, for the sustainability of fishing communities, there were many policy measures that were introduced today. This means that when people of Korea visit the fishing communities for tourism perspectives, they will still think about the policy measures that brought them here. They will, of course, become more aware. Of course, it has consequences. First of all, these tend to be high cost, the products. And there needs to be public infrastructure laid out to attract more tourists into the fishing communities. But the social efficacy that is produced in the process, I believe, is much higher than the cost. And that efficacy can be shared not just by fishing community, but by urban residents as well. I believe that today was a starting point to really share and proliferate the efficacy of fishing communities. In that sense, international community and Korean government needs to think about how to enhance that efficacy of fishing communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Lee, for your comment. The policies discussed today and the projects that have been implemented will be fully embraced and will become really successful only when people see the great potential and the effect, despite the huge cost. I think that's the summary of his remarks. I'd like to turn to Professor Kim Hyo-jin. Very nice to meet you all. I am Kim Hyo-jin, professor at the Department of Tourism Management of Mokpo National University. As I listened to the various presentations, I could see the need for responsibility and responsible practices. The area of my expertise is tourist management. And the common issue and the theme here would be environmental degradation, climate change, and global warming, and the concerns and the responses to these issues. And as I mentioned, my area of expertise is tourism. And as a professor of tourism, I feel such a solemn responsibility. Those who have all the fund are not the one who will pick up after the use. And I believe while those who enjoy the benefits of the environment should be the one who take responsibility for after the use of those resources. In regards to climate change and environmental protection and degradation, I've listened to such insightful presentations. I'd like to focus more on the students who share their ideas for the revitalization of fishing village community tourism. Bugyong National University students as well as Jeju National University students share their great and fresh ideas. To make some comments as to that, the ideas were brilliant and the commercialization potential is huge, I believe. But I'd like to make one suggestion here. In Fishing Village themselves, they have implemented various policy initiatives and projects, but the capacity building or other community-based and community-driven initiatives should be implemented as well. I'd like to see more initiative taken by fishing villages themselves. And as for the three presentations by university students, the last presentation, the case of Tongyang, the Japja crew of Bugyong National University, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism has implemented and sponsored the special tourism product development project. And Tongyang is one of the cities covered by this project. If that is combined with eco and ocean tourism, various responsible programs can be developed further. That's it for me. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다, 교수님.
Thank you for the comments. I think he talked about ocean tourism and partnership with companies, and also he gave some feedback on the student presentations as a professor. The ideas and business viability, I think, were all considered in his comments, and there are some policies that are already being implemented by the government, and there are some programs that can be really adopted by the local communities. So I think I would like to thank him for all of his comments. I'd like to now move on to Hwang Jae-hee, Assistant Professor of Jeonnam National University. Good afternoon. I am from Jeonnam National University, Department of Economics, and I am Hwang Jae-hee. I think there were a lot of presentations for one session, and I was able to listen to multiple angles regarding the overcoming of the crisis in fishing communities. And my major is local economics, so I will try to focus on my major. There are largely two trends which are conflicting in each other, but which also has a possibility of convergence. First of all is smart technology, contactless technology. So I think early on we had some business success cases from overseas as well. So they are leveraging cutting-edge technology or coming up with innovative use of existing technology to strengthen the sustainability of ocean and fishing communities. And I thought that was very impressive. And second is very different. So I talked about technology. Those were macro factors. But after the pandemic, I think this whole experience was accelerated. It is the importance of local initiatives. Smart contactless technology are all important, but the geographic proximity is also important. So it's not just about environmental sustainability. it's the sustainability of a community that is much more important. And so from that perspective, we need to think about the role of local businesses. And I think the second half of the session was about just that, how we can develop business models to help the local economy. And there were some talks about policies, and there were some new ideas presented by students, which were inspiring. And when we talk about local initiatives, if we look at I think it's very important to understand the success cases. So sustainability in terms of environment, I think we always talk about 3 P's. So planet, and then profit, and third, people. Planet, profit, and people. And from the 3 earlier presentations, I think they talked about the national people. And I think from the local perspective, especially when we're talking about the extinction of fishing communities, the lack of infrastructure, and so on, the people, from a very micro perspective, I think is very important to understand. And from that angle, I think the presentations today were very interesting. And while it was not included, but there is also a project that was initiated by the Jeonnam University students. So I would like to present some of their ideas. They are not systematically organized as the students that were presented today, so they were not able to make it up to the stage. But the idea itself, I think, is very innovative. One of them was Happy Run. So it's about a marathon. So they want to host a marathon. Happy is about having marathon programs. And second, they were coming up with ideas to develop connection with the local fishing markets, hosting pop-up stores. And third, there was talk about a lot of food, how to leverage the F&B of fishing communities. And our students also came up with a lunchbox service. So they're using the local ingredients to make local lunchboxes. And then also student exchange, because there are a lot of empty houses in the fishing communities. And so maybe they can take part in internship programs, so they will get paid and they can use those income to spend in the local economy and so on. These were some of the ideas that I felt were very new and refreshing. I think the students have unlimited ideas. And in terms of understanding the local economies, the policymakers, the academics, the actual residents in the fishing communities, I think always need to be open to these new ideas. We have guests from not only Korea, but from the global fishing community. I think we can all come together to think about how to develop local business models to revitalize the local economies. Thank you. Thank you for those remarks. I think she highlighted 2 aspects: smart technology and local initiatives. And especially from the local initiative perspective, based on environment, the role of community would be very important. And also developing local business models would be very effective. Especially, you also mentioned some ideas that were presented by the Jeonnam National University. So I think that enriches our discussion.
Last but not the least, I'd like to turn to Dr. Kim Chung-jae. Very nice to meet you all. I'm Kim Chung-jae of Gangwon Institute. We are toward the end of the session, but I'd like to thank you for staying with us till the very end of the session. I've listened to and enjoyed many presentations, and thanks to various innovative and brilliant ideas, I can see a brighter future for fishing communities. But for these ideas to be realized at the level of each fishing community, I think that will take some time. Well, I have some suggestions as to the presentations. Well, the Korea Fisheries Infrastructure Public Agency has implemented the various projects in order to engage the private sector. I think that's really desirable, and we should expand this further. No matter how much and how many resources the fishing community has, but I've actually conducted a research on this matter. Well, they have such great pool of resources that their internal resources, they are not sure, although they have such a great natural resources, but fishing community does not have the expertise in marketing and sales as well as packaging. That is why they have to be closely cooperate with private businesses. And only then they will be able to further expand and grow their business. That is why in this matter, we need the government support. Well, the last presenter mentioned the importance of anchor business. And anchor business is such a great case. In the case of Iceland, centered around anchor business. Iceland is known for cod. So 100% fish. This idea was realized centered around anchor business. And the anchor business and the anchor company was established at the center of a fishing village. Although the village was located in a remote area, well, in this era, you don't need to be based in downtown or urban area. I think now Iceland is known for the ocean cluster. But my concern here is that, well, in the metropolitan area or any fishing village located relatively close to Seoul metropolitan area would have a better opportunity. But in the far remote areas, fishing communities would just struggle longer and farther. In order to prevent population decline in the fishing community, we should be able to ensure the influx of a population. And the first step would be to revitalize and to empower young people there in fishing community. But most of the fishing community has not been able to create such set of opportunities for young people. So my suggestion here is that colleges should be able to create a platform for college students to start their own business and to materialize their entrepreneurial vision. Each fishing community has a fishing community support center, and the support center should have the practical power and authority to support the startups, college students to start their own business. And if you cannot have such a support, then you would not be able to do your business. You cannot do your own business for fishing community. You cannot realize your vision and ideas for the fishing community. So first of all, you should be able to retain the future leaders and young people in the fishing community before attracting any human resources from outside. And the infrastructure should be built based on the support from the government. I really appreciate great ideas, and for those ideas to be actually practically applied in the field, we should be able to create a model to follow. Thank you.
예, 감사합니다.
Thank you for the remarks. I think he highlighted the participation of private companies, the anchor companies, in terms of developing the local economies of fishing communities. And in order to increase the success rate, there will need support from local and central government in that process. Thank you. So I would like to thank all of the 4 panelists for being very well in time. We have about 5 to 6 minutes left. Do we have any further comments from the panelists? I think we can accommodate maybe 1 or 2. Any volunteers from the panels? Yes, I have one proposal. I mentioned that government and society needs to really think about the efficacy that is being generated by the fishing communities. I'd like to give one example. If you go to Starbucks, you have the paper cups. It says FSC. Have you ever seen that mark? It's a certification by the Forestry Management Committee. And it's a product that they certify to ensure customers that this product is contributing to the sustainability of forests. And that has meaning for the customers of Starbucks. I think that can be also applied to the fishing industry. You have MSC and various certifications. But when you look at these certification marks, it all started from the industry, aqua farm, forestry, fishing industry, and so on. What about the fishing communities? I think we need to think about sustainability of fishing communities. What kind of value or what kind of efficacy can the fishing communities contribute to? It's not at the end product perspective, but if something helps, for example, VSC, there were many products and business ideas that were presented today. Maybe it's not all part of the same category, but ultimately, if it contributes to the maintenance of sustainability of fishing communities and the industry based on fishing community and of products, if it contributes to higher efficacy, then I think it can play a role. Of course, if you look at the reality of fishing communities,
자체에서 하기는 힘듭니다.
the fishing communities cannot implement this on their own. I think there will be some support required from the public sector. And once this system is established, then I think the private sector can then start to run the system. So we can start in Korea and then it can be spread to the global community. It can become an innovative business model. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Professor Lee, for the additional comments. And something just comes up to my mind. When we use the stairs instead of the elevator, you know how many more days that you have added to your life expectancy. I think this can be same for the products. When we use something, how much a contribution we are making to the sustainability of fishing communities can help spur the public's interest. So as a public official, I'll try to accommodate the recommendations that were made today. And we also heard from the UK, Italy, and Japan. We all try to cooperate with these countries. We will try to exchange information and so on. So this will conclude the panel session. I will hand over the microphone back to the announcer.
네.
Thank you very much for such diverse opinions. I'd like to thank our four panelists as well as the moderator of this session, Mr. Hong Geun-young of the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries. Thank you very much. And after we make some arrangement, we'd like to take some photos, group photos, along with the audience later as well. This concludes session 2. Fishing Community Business of ICFC 2024 is coming to an end. Thank you very much for joining us for this session. From 5 p.m., we will have the opening ceremony of the ICFC 2024 on the 5th floor of this convention center. This is the end of this session. Thank you very much once again for your active participation. Thank you.
네, 이어서 사진 촬영 진행.
Now we will have the group photo. I'd like to ask the panelists, the 5 panelists, I would like to ask you to come up to the stage for the group photo. From 5 p.m. we will have the opening ceremony, so I would like to do this in a speedy manner. Thank you.
네, 5분 지금 무대로 바로 올라와 주시기 바랍니다. 사진 촬영 진행하겠습니다. 패널 토론에 함께 해주신 5분 먼저 사진 촬영 진행.
So 5 panelists, please come up to the stage.
네, 빨간 원 안으로 위치.
Please come into the red circle.
촬영 진행하겠습니다. 다 함께도 곧 촬영할 예정이니까요. 5분.
We will invite everyone else to the stage once this group photo is taken. So please bear with us for just one moment. We will also ask the speakers to come up to the stage later, so please wait just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
자세로 촬영하겠고요. 네, 모두 촬영할 예정입니다. 네, 자리로 해주시기 바랍니다. 발표자분들도 함께 촬영하신다고 합니다.
So the presenters will also take a group photo today, so bear with us just 1 minute. We will first take a group photo of the panelists.
네, 앞쪽으로 자리해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 좋습니다. 자, 조금 더 넓게 가로로 자리해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 좋습니다.
So can we spread out horizontally? Thank you.
네, 먼저 차렷 자세로 환한 미소와 함께 촬영하겠습니다.
So please first everyone smile.
아, 이제 화이팅 포즈 한번 진행할까요? 네, 좋습니다. 오른손 들고 자, 앞으로 또
So can you have the Korean fighting pose with your right fist? Fist bump.
좋습니다. 함께 외치겠습니다. 하나, 둘, 셋. 화이팅! 네, 고맙습니다. 자, 이제 모든 참석자분들도 무대로 올.
Now I would like to ask everyone to come up to the stage. After the photo, we will all move to the opening ceremony.
에 계신 모든 분들을
So everyone on the floor, please can you come up to the stage? We will take a group photo. Please mind the steps.
계단을 조심해서 이동해 주시기 바랍니다. 자, 직원분들께서도 조금 안내를 해 주시기 바랍니다. 조명이 많이 밝기 때문에 네, 위험할 수 있으니까요. 자, 이번에는 해외 연사분들도 많이 또 함께 계시니까 차렷 자세와 함께 세션 1처럼 소나.
So we will first have a photo with everyone smiling.
네, 좋습니다. 자, 서로 얼굴이 잘 보일 수 있게 자리를 해주셨고요. 자, 먼저 차렷 자세로 환하게 미소를.
So please smile.
네, 좋습니다. 이번에는 소나트.
Next, we'll have the K heart. Do you know how to do the K heart pose?
사랑하는 마음으로. 네, 좋습니다. 너무 깜찍한 사진이 탄생할 것 같습니다. 네, 고맙습니다.
Thank you, everyone. Now we will conclude the first day of the official sessions of the ICFC 2024. I would like to ask everyone to head to the 5th floor, Tamna Hall, for the opening ceremony. Thank you.